how do we design an AI that doesn't feel like an AI? At the same time, it has to look like Wes Anderson. So today's video is about my design. How I went from zero to building an AI product from scratch remotely as an AI design consultant. About 3 months ago, I stepped into this, and honestly, if you told me a few years ago that I'd be working on AI products, I wouldn't have believed you. And for those who've been following me, you know I spent the last few years in Web3 and crypto working fully remotely, but this time, it was different. I didn't just jump into a new project, I transitioned industries. And it didn't happen because I planned every step. It happened because of a series of small decisions that eventually opened new doors. So I worked on like a 2-month freelance contract project last year for an AI product. And that experience completely shifted my curiosity. I began to see AI not just as a tool, but as something you could design more intentionally. And from that project to connecting to the founder of this AI startup right now through social media, to being invited to help build something from the ground up, that was when I knew this isn't just another contract. It is a full-on AI design journey. And that's why I really wanted to share this with all of you. Let me give you context on this product first, because understanding the why really matters. The product is called Viralt, an AI talent manager built for Instagram content creators. So it is designed to help creators in ways most current tools don't. Not only can it help you with the analytics, scheduling content, but also strategy, generating ideas, landing brand deals, and gives you more motivation every day. These are all in one place. It's like having a pocket manager you can check in with every day. And here's why I connected with it personally. For over a year, I've been creating content here and there, so I know the frustrations creators feel. When I joined the project, I just felt this is something I genuinely believe in, and it's also a product that I can use in my daily life. Before I started designing anything, I did market research, and what I found was pretty fascinating. Most of the AI design today, especially in this space, feels very enterprise B2B, cold, SaaS-ish. You know the look, and they use all the blues, gradients, and data dashboards, and just like very robotic interfaces. That makes sense though, because most of the AI products are built for businesses, not for humans. But here's the thing, Viralt wasn't trying to fit in that mold. The founder wanted something human, warm, and personality-driven. So the question actually became, how do we design an AI that doesn't feel like an AI? One that's friendly, expressive, almost like a creative partner. And one huge inspiration the founder mentioned was Wes Anderson, not just for the colors and art direction, but for the quirk, personality, the tone. So I started thinking, what would the brand feel like, look like, behave like? And at the same time, it has to look like Wes Anderson. I started with collecting visual inspiration. I did what I always do. I created a Pinterest mood board, like color palettes, typography, and texture, like vintage elements. Everything aligned with the Wes Anderson vibe. From there, I put a curated selection into Figma so I could analyze them side by side. A big part of my process is asking, what feeling does this invoke? And what emotions does this palette bring up? And what would this look like as an app screen? Once I had a strong sense of art direction, I moved into Illustrator and started drawing. I didn't start with the badge, but with the typography first because I really wanted the word mark to set the voice of the brand. I then explored dozens of iterations, like the lowercase, uppercase, like different ways, spacing. When we narrowed it down to the strongest directions, we moved into mockups, showing how the logo could live in real context, like on the app and on the merch and on business cards. That's where the brand really came to life. So the final logo combines a retro type aesthetic with a badge inspired by vintage disco elements, a disco ball. It's interwoven with AI motifs, like a subtle balance of nostalgic and futuristic. And for the colors, we didn't really go with typical tech colors. Instead, we landed on like a very retro green and pink combo, and something feels like very playful, human, and memorable. There's like something very classic about this pairing. It's just a bit like the film posters from the 70s, and it matched pretty well with the emotional voice we wanted. I also built like a full color system, including black and white version, all documented in a brand guideline. If you want me to make a full walkthrough on how I usually build brand guidelines, comment below and I'll make a dedicated video. Once the brand was alive, something pretty awesome happened. The team moved super fast. It was beyond my expectation, and they started producing the merch based on my design. Like, seeing your creation exist in the real physical world, like the swag, stickers, and the notebooks, and feeling is so unreal. When I got the photos sent from the marketing team, and honestly, it was one of those moments that made you go, I made that. I think every designer knows that feeling. But we actually didn't really stop in branding. After that, we jumped straight into product design, starting with the website. Now, everything else we did visually was generated by Midjourney. Those visuals really helped anchor the Wes Anderson aesthetic, the colors and the composition, but in a very practical and functional UI. We continue using green as the main background, then added layers of texture and noise to give it a like tactile vintage feel, something you don't usually see in an AI product site. The goal was pretty clear: make it feel human, not like another AI dashboard. And I think I achieved that. I'm also working fully remotely on this AI product, which honestly requires a lot of self-discipline. From the beginning, we set up a clear rhythm. For example, every Friday, we'd have a design sync online to align the process and next steps. But beyond that, I was also very proactive about suggesting extra time whenever I feel like something needed more discussion. Because I am not a full-time employee, I felt it was even more important to really understand the product inside out. So I'd often share inspiration, references, and competitor analysis directly with the founder, sometimes even outside our scheduled meetings. I didn't want to position myself as someone who just execute tasks. I wanted to work more like a design partner, but remotely. One small but important tip I've learned from remote work is that whatever work relationship you're starting, especially in the first few weeks or months, do your best work early on. First impressions matter a lot more in remote environments because everything happens online. Be responsive, be reliable, and communicate early. When people trust you, opportunities tend to open up more naturally. And that alone can put you way ahead of a lot of others in the long run. Now, throughout the process, feedback was critical, but since I'm often the only designer on the team, I lean on external feedback channels, especially ADPList, where I get to connect with mentors and design leaders around the world. I am not sponsored, I'm an active user, and insights I get from mentors like Burcu have been invaluable, especially when I was iterating the visuals and the hierarchy and the colors. I recently had a session with her after Viralt was launched, and I got some super straight to the point insight right on the spot after I showed her the website. And each one of them will have like a screen, so once you hover it, and then this will be highlighted, so you can actually read the conversation.
Oh, that's perfect. That's perfect. We talked about like doing a little video where those conversations pop up, but this is much better than that, you know, giving that interactivity. I think it works great.
I feel, the user could literally read according to their own pace because they can just use the scroll bar here.
Yeah. It's more real, definitely. And seeing the whole conversation, like how this thing will react. And I see some like XD like emojis, so it's like It gives a ton of voice as well, so it makes sense. It all like came together very fast, but also now like seeing this together, and it's already live as I'm seeing.
Yeah.
I think you did a great job at this. Like you moved quickly, but also the palette, the animations. Now it's like an ecosystem, because that was something that we talked about like in the process. Like let's create a little universe where it has lots of layers, lots of multiple like elements, and then with that they can just take this and expand the identity into like other features or whatever communication materials they'll design like in the future. So it's like it seems like a good system to get a good start.
If you're a solo designer or navigating remote design paths, finding a mentor can be one of the biggest accelerators in your growth. So give ADPList a try. This project is still ongoing, and now that it's launched, my role is also shifting towards iteration, user feedback, and new feature development. Remote work in AI design, in my opinion, isn't just about tools. It's about like the choices, the communication, empathy, and also your creative confidence. If you want a full video on how I get remote gigs like this, or how I network, land opportunities, and manage client relationships, drop a comment below, because I know the demand for that is real. I hope this video gives you a deeper idea of what it's like to design for AI from zero to product, and how the story, personality, and intention are just as important as pixels. I'll see you in the next one.